Welcome to This Day in His Story, created by American Heritage Worldwide. A reminder that every day holds something new to learn. Did you know that the faces of the presidents carved on Mount Rushmore are each 60 feet tall? Learn why George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt were chosen, and which president represents the foundation, expansion, preservation, and development of the United States.
Okay, I want to try a little experiment to kick things off.
Okay.
I want you to be totally radically honest with me for a second. When I say the words President's Day, what is the absolute first image that flashes in your brain? Don't overthink it.
Honesty. You want radical honesty.
I do. No filtering.
A car dealership commercial, probably someone screaming about 0% APR financing.
Yes.
Or maybe a vague image of George Washington wearing sunglasses on a mattress advertisement.
Right, exactly. It feels like the holiday has become the ultimate 3-day weekend cliche.
Totally.
It's a marker for retail therapy. It's a signal that winter is almost over. But it rarely feels like a moment for, deep civic reflection.
It's essentially the participation trophy of patriotic holidays. It's there, we take the day off, but we don't really ask why.
But here's the thing, and this is why I was so excited to dig into this specific stack of sources today. We have everything here, from historical texts to government protocols, Senate archives, and even some really interesting philosophical readings. And they suggest that if you look under the hood of this mattress sale holiday, there is some surprisingly heavy machinery at work.
There really is. And our mission today is to, essentially rescue the holiday from the clearance rack. We're going to look at the messy bureaucratic origins of the date itself.
Yeah.
A Senate ritual that feels like it belongs in a secret society.
Yeah.
And the literal stone-cold legacy carved into the Black Hills.
Plus, we found a how-to guide in the government sources on writing a letter to the president that is weirdly specific.
Oh, it is.
Like, don't use the wrong pen specifically.
And it's strictly regulated. We will definitely get to that.
So let's unpack this. We start with the calendar. Because, strictly speaking, President's Day is a bit of a lie, isn't it?
It is a total misnomer. If you look at the official Federal Register, the holiday is technically still Washington's birthday.
Really?
The name President's Day is largely a marketing invention that just sort of stuck in the cultural consciousness.
But we don't celebrate it on Washington's actual birthday.
No. And for the purists out there, and the sources indicate there are many, this is a source of constant irritation. The culprit here is the Uniform Monday Holiday Act of 1971.
That sounds like the most boring piece of legislation ever written.
It sounds so dry.
The Uniform Monday Holiday Act. It sounds like something that would just drain the color out of a room.
It sounds dry, but it fundamentally changed American culture. Before 1971, holidays were like birthdays. You celebrated them when they happened.
So if Washington's birthday was a Wednesday, the nation took off Wednesday.
Exactly.
Which creates absolute chaos for businesses. Yeah. You can't have the stock market closing in the middle of the week every time a historical figure has a birthday.
Precisely. So Congress, in their infinite wisdom, decided to prioritize the long weekend over historical accuracy. They moved a bunch of holidays to Mondays.
To boost the travel industry.
That's right, and give workers those 3-day breaks.
So Washington got shifted from February 22nd to the third Monday in February?
Which ironically ensures that the holiday can never fall on his actual birthday.
What?
Yeah, the third Monday is the 21st. So we are permanently celebrating him on the wrong day.
We literally legislated his birthday out of existence. But this is where Lincoln enters the chat. Right? Because I grew up thinking it was Washington and Lincoln.
That's the common perception.
I feel like most people combine them mentally.
They do. Lincoln was born February 12th. Now, the sources note that Lincoln's birthday is a legal holiday in specific states, Illinois, obviously, and Kentucky.
Places where he actually lived. That makes sense.
Right, but federally, no. The Uniform Monday Holiday Act basically took Washington, Lincoln, and eventually the concept of the presidency as an institution, put them in a blender, and poured out a 3-day weekend.
It's efficient, I'll give them that.
Very efficient.
But it does feel like we lost the specificity. We aren't honoring a man anymore. We're honoring an office. Or perhaps just the concept of a day off.
I think for many, it is the latter.
Okay, so that's the when. But I want to talk about the how, because while the rest of us are enjoying that bureaucratic day off, sleeping in, maybe buying that car,
right,
the sources mention something happening in D.C. that is surprisingly solemn.
This was my favorite find in the stack. While the banks are closed, the U.S. Senate is actually busy keeping a tradition alive that dates back to the Civil War.
This isn't just a parade or a wreath laying. This feels more like a ritual.
It is much more intimate. Every year on this day, the Senate pauses its legislative business. No voting, no arguing, no campaigning.
Wow.
They select one senator to stand at the desk and read George Washington's farewell address in its entirety.
And that's not a tweet. We aren't talking about a quick soundbite.
No, it is 7,641 words. It takes about 45 minutes to read aloud.
I want you to just picture this. Modern politicians, who usually speak in 30-second clips or look at their phones during hearings, sitting there in silence for nearly an hour.
Listening to dense 18th century English.
It forces a pause.
It really does. And the context of when this started is vital to understanding why they do it. The sources say the tradition began on February 22nd, 1862.
1862. Deep in the Civil War.
The darkest timeline. The country is literally tearing itself apart. Morale's in the gutter. 1 million troops are mobilizing. And the Senate decides we need to remember what holds this thing together.
So they read Washington's warning about unity.
And they haven't stopped since.
Well, not quite.
They missed a few years in the beginning, but since 1896, it has been an annual lock. And the mechanics are fascinating. They alternate parties. One year a Democrat reads it, the next year a Republican.
I saw Rob Portman's name in the notes as a recent reader.
Yes, and think about the pressure. You're reading Washington's words to your colleagues, to the historical record. You can't stumble. You can't ad-lib. You are a vessel for history.
But here is the detail that gave me goosebumps.
Oh, yeah?
It's what happens after the reading. Because usually after a speech, everyone just claps and leagues.
Not here. This involves the Black Book.
The Black Book. Tell them about the book.
So, after the senator finishes this marathon reading, they don't just walk away. They go to the Secretary of the Senate, and they sign a specific leather-bound book. It's basically a log.
So if you open that book, you see a continuous chain of signatures going back over a century.
Exactly. You have a senator from 2024 signing the same page as a senator from 1950 or 1920. It connects the timeline. It's a physical artifact that says the Republic is still here.
That's powerful. It anchors the day in something real rather than just the mattress sales. It connects the 1860s to the 2020s in a very physical way.
It does.
But it also matters what they are reading. Washington wasn't just saying goodbye, he was issuing a warning.
He was terrified. That's the subtext of the farewell address. He looked at this fragile baby country and saw two things that could kill it. One was geographic sectionalism, North versus South.
Which, given the Civil War started 60 years later, he absolutely nailed.
He nailed it.
Yeah.
But the second one resonates so hard today. He warned against violent likes and dislikes of foreign nations.
Violent likes and dislikes. That is such a specific phrase.
He was worried about polarization. He said if we get too emotional about our allies or our enemies, we become controlled by our passions.
Wow.
He believed that a free nation needed to be cool-headed.
Controlled by our passions. That feels like it could be the tagline for social media.
Or cable news.
Yeah.
It really does.
And this is where the source material took a fascinating turn. We have Washington's political warning, but our research stack also included a philosophical, almost theological counterpoint to this idea of judgment.
Yeah, this jumped out at me. It's a reference to the Book of Mormon, specifically Mosiah chapter 29.
A total left turn, you'd think.
Right, for a packet about President's Day, but when you look at the theme the researchers were pulling together, it fits perfectly.
It's a discussion on governance and the nature of power. The text says, "Now it is better that a man should be judged of God than of man, for the judgments of God are always just, but the judgments of man are not always just."
The judgments of man are not always just. Think about how that layers onto Washington. Washington says, don't let your passions control your politics because you'll make bad decisions.
And this text does.
This text says, be careful, because your human judgment is inherently flawed anyway.
It's a call for humility.
Precisely. Whether you are coming at this from a civic angle or a spiritual angle, the message is the same. You are not as smart as you think you are. Your anger, it's probably blinding you.
And in a democracy where we are the ones making the judgments, voting, debating, posting, that humility is the only safety valve we have.
Washington called it the baneful effects of the spirit of party. He knew that if we just judged each other based on party, the system would collapse.
It's heavy stuff for a Monday off.
It is.
But I guess that's the point of the holiday. It's a check-in. Are we still doing this right?
It forces us to look in the mirror, certainly.
Okay, let's shift gears. We've been in the Senate dealing with philosophy and history. Now let's go outside. I have to go big.
Very big.
You cannot discuss honoring presidents without talking about the mountain.
Mount Rushmore. The shrine of democracy.
The scale of this thing is wild. The sources say each face is 60 feet high.
Their noses are 20 feet long.
If they had bodies, they would be 465 feet tall. That is Godzilla-sized.
It is American gigantism at its finest.
Yeah.
Carved right into the granite of the Black Hills in Keystone, South Dakota.
And it wasn't just a quick weekend project.
No, it took 14 years. From 1927 to 1941. Think about that time frame, through the Great Depression, right up to the edge of World War II.
And the sculptors?
Gutzon Borglum and his son, Lincoln Borglum. It was a father-son team.
I always forget it was a father-son team. That's a nice detail. And nearly 3 million people visit it every year.
Yeah.
But here is the question, and the sources lay this out clearly. Why these 4 guys? I feel like everyone knows who is on the mountain, but maybe we forget the specific logic behind the selection.
It wasn't random. Borglum didn't just pick his favorites. Each one represents a specific phase or theme of American history, according to the creators.
Okay, let's run through them. First up, obviously, George Washington.
The foundation. The birth of the Republic. You simply can't have the country without him. He is the bedrock.
Then Thomas Jefferson.
Expansion. He represents the growth of the nation, the Louisiana Purchase. He doubled the size of the country. And, of course, the intellect behind the Declaration of Independence.
Okay. Abraham Lincoln.
Preservation. He held the Union together when it tried to break. He represents the endurance of the nation through its hardest trial.
And the fourth one. This is the one I think stumps people sometimes on trivia night. Or they wonder why he's there instead of FDR or Kennedy. Theodore Roosevelt, YTR.
Development.
Development.
Specifically, industrial development and conservation. He represents the U.S. entering the 20th century, becoming a world power. The Panama Canal, trust busting, but also, and this is key for the location conservation.
Because he saved the land.
Exactly. He created the national park system. There is a bit of irony, of course, in carving a mountain to celebrate the guy who wanted to leave nature alone.
A little bit of a contradiction there. I love this mountain so much I'm going to blast my face into it.
A massive contradiction. But the logic of the monument holds. Birth, growth, preservation, development. It's a narrative carved in stone.
And the sources mention that this group of 4 isn't just celebrated in South Dakota. The presidential libraries, like Nixon's and Reagan's, have held celebrations specifically honoring these Rushmore presidents.
It's like the Hall of Fame within the Hall of Fame. It set the standard. It created the pantheon.
Right. So we've got the philosophy, we've got the monument, but let's bring it down to ground level. Let's say I'm inspired by all this.
Yep.
I've listened to the farewell address, I've looked at the mountain, and I want to actually engage with the presidency today.
You mean interact with the office?
Yeah. The sources actually give us the how-to guide. First off, if you want to visit virtually, at least there are options.
Yes, the sources list video tours of structural models and even a 360-degree virtual tour of the White House interiors and exteriors.
So you can see where the decisions happen without leaving your couch. And for the kids, or just anyone who needs a refresher, there's a music video mentioned to help you learn all the names, which, let's be honest, gets tricky after about number 12.
It does get a little hazy in the middle of the 19th century. Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce. Easy to lose track.
But here's my favorite part of the source material. It gives incredibly specific etiquette for writing a letter to the president.
This stuck out to me too. In an era of email and tweets, the sources are preserving the formal tradition of correspondence.
Okay, walk us through it. I want to write to the president. What paper do I use?
8.5 by 11-inch paper. Standard letter size.
Can I scribble it on a napkin? Can I use a greeting card with glitter on it?
Please do not. The guidance is strict. It's about scanning and filing. If you send a weird-shaped card, it jams the machines. They want standard paper. The guidance says explicitly, consider typing it.
Consider typing it, which is polite government speak for, please don't make us decipher your handwriting.
Exactly. But if you must handwrite it, use a pen ink, not pencil.
Yeah.
And the instruction is simply, write as neatly as possible.
Write as neatly as possible. I feel like a teacher wrote that guidance.
It's practical. They have to be able to read it. And don't forget the return address on the letter and the envelope. And this is a modern edition. Include your email address if you have one.
So they can email you back.
It's faster.
Yeah.
And it saves taxpayer money on postage.
That makes sense. And just to make sure we are fully servicing the listener here, where are we sending this neatly written 8.5 by 11 letter?
The White House. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, NW, Washington, D.C. Zip code 2500.
2500, there you go. It's funny, reading that address feels so accessible. It's just a street address.
It is the people's house, after all.
So let's zoom out. We've covered a lot of ground. We started with the confusion of the date, the Uniform Monday Holiday Act trying to give us a long weekend while mashing up Washington and Lincoln.
And we looked at the solemnity of the Senate floor. That image of the alternating parties reading Washington's warning about violent likes and dislikes really sticks with me.
And the connection to the Book of Mormon, quote, that judgments of men are not always just. It adds this layer of moral weight to the holiday.
Yeah.
It's not just about celebrating power. It's about questioning how we use judgment.
Then we have the monuments, the physical reminders of foundation, expansion, preservation, and development.
And finally, the simple act of writing a letter. Pen, paper, zip code. It's a holiday that seems to be pulling us in two directions. Looking back at the giants of history, but also asking us to engage in the present.
I think that's the perfect way to put it. It demands a little bit of effort from us.
So here's where we leave you. We always like to end with a thought to chew on.
And today, I want to go back to that warning from 1796. Washington was terrified that passion would overtake reason.
He saw it as a threat.
A threat to the Republic itself. This was reiterated in 1862, in the middle of a civil war.
The stakes couldn't have been higher.
Exactly. So here is a question. If that warning was necessary then, how does it apply to you right now? When you scroll through your news feed or watch a debate or talk about politics with your neighbor, are you being controlled by your passions?
Are you letting the anger drive the car?
Or are you able to step back, as the sources suggest, and practice a little bit of that patience and judgment? Because if the Senate can pause for 45 minutes to listen to history, maybe we can pause for a few seconds before we react.
Heavy stuff for a Monday off, but maybe that's exactly what we need.
Indeed.
Thank you for joining us for this day in His story. May the lessons of yesterday inspire you to see God's hand today and to play your part in His story now. For more faith-based learning, visit ahsworldwide.org, the homeschool for faith and family.